Hi everyone, Janie here, and today I'm going to be sharing the mini one sheet wonder card sketch number 8 from LV Handcrafted, and I'll put a link to her channel below in the description box, and I'm going to be showing you a variety of ways to use that sketch. And to decorate most of the cards, I'm going to be using Inlovearts Skiing Snowman Die and stamp set, and it comes in this nice plastic pouch so that you can keep the stamps and dies together. And this is the adorable stamp set with 5 different snowman images and 5 sentiments and the dies that cut out the snowman images. And as I promised in my previous video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to separate these pieces, because a lot of people think that they're just stuck together that way permanently, or that they're too difficult to separate. But they really aren't, as you can see. And of course, you'll need them separated in order to line them up on the stamped images. I'm also going to be using the Recollections Sugar Plum scrapbook paper that was one of my prizes from Deborah Adams' Creative Life, and I will also be using Recollections gold foil cardstock. I used my Creative Craft Products stamp platform that I got from Craft Stash and Memento Luxe Gray Flannel Mixed Media ink. And I was going to stamp them all at once, but realized it was easier for me to do one at a time because I was having trouble getting all of the images to stamp completely at one time, and it might have been because the ink was not staying wet by the time I got all of the images inked. But as you can see, they stamped beautifully. And I used my Ohuhu colored pencils to color the images. I was going to try to die cut them all at one time, but the washi tape I had was not holding, so I thought it was safer if I just cut one at a time, and I used my Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus to do that. And I really didn't need to use that reverse button, but I love using it whether I need it or not. If you want to see a demo and review of this awesome die cutting machine, I'll have a link right here on the screen and also a link at the end of the video. Next, I use my Creative Craft Products paper trimmer to cut the 12 by 12 paper down to 6 by 6. And I really love this paper trimmer because there is an edge that stops the paper right at 6 inches. And that's what I was trying to show you by bumping the paper on it a couple times. Since the paper isn't double-sided, I'm using 2 different papers, and I'm going to be cutting them according to the sketch that you see here on the screen. And you can pause if you want to write it down, but better yet, I'll have a link in the description box to LV Handcrafted where you can download it for free. Now what I'm showing you here is that one of the papers has a directional image on it, and that's something you have to watch for when you're choosing the paper to use, but I'll show you how to work around that later in the video. I also cut a third paper because I want to show you how these cards look mixing and matching 2 different papers, or using double-sided paper, but I also want to show you what it looks like if you just use one pattern paper. And this is optional, but I chose to layer the pieces on foil cardstock, and here are the measurements that I used, but you don't have to layer the pieces, that is totally up to you. And here are all of my pieces cut out and layered, and the sketch makes 3 cards from one 6 by 6 piece of paper, but as you can see, I cut out enough to make 9 cards. I also decided that I wanted some of my cards to have an embossed background layer, and I'm using this Inlovearts Snowflake embossing folder. And I'm following the directions on my Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus to do the embossing. And you might notice that I'm not using the reverse button, but I didn't need to because, as you can see, it came out beautifully. I'm also using that same embossing folder to emboss some strips of Recollections gold foil cardstock, and you'll see why here in a little bit. Okay, now that I have all of the pieces cut out, I'm going to show you how easy it is to put these together. And then after I do that, I'm going to give you a closer look at the 6 cards you saw at the beginning of the video so you can see other variations and styles, and also ways to work with directional patterns. So one of the things I want to point out is that layers are optional, so you don't have to have a layer behind this like I do. Also, you don't have to have, this kind of layer behind there. And wait a minute, I'm going to show you something else. I'm actually adding to a couple of the cards other layers. So these are going to be in the back, and yes, I cut the center out. They're right here so I can use them for something else, because no one's going to see that, once these are put on there. So layers are strictly optional. That's totally up to you, and I was just in the mood for layers right now, so that's what I did. But let's get started. So let me move these things aside. Oh, I should have just been a little bit more organized here, but moving. That's for later. These are for later. And later, I'll get all the pieces here. Just give me a second. Okay. I want to start with this card. And for this one, I am not using one of these backgrounds. I am not using one of these backgrounds. This is just your basic card base. And you can put these on here in any order you want. I'm going to turn it this way because this is facing you. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start with the larger one on the bottom, and then the medium, and then the smaller one. I want to point out that you can do these any way that you want. You can also have your card going this direction, and so it's really versatile, especially when you are using pattern paper that is not directional, and this is not directional, so it can be lined up any way you want. So I'm going to start off by putting this one at the bottom, and I am using my Beacon 3-in-1, and I guess, what am I trying to say here? I like my Beacon 3-in-1 because it actually gives me wiggle room, which I normally need. I am not always good at laying things down exactly where they need to be. And hopefully I get this one exactly where I want it to be, or at least close enough. Okay. Now, instead of putting the next one on, I'm going to go to the top, and that will help me center the one in the middle. So I'm putting the smallest one at the top, and I know the way you're looking at it, it's the bottom, but I just wanted you to see a way of making sure things line up. When you are working with, like sets of 3 like this, I just wanted you to see that the best way to do it is to line up the top and the bottom first. Make sure you have everything where you want it. And then once you do that, and I just wiggled that, once you do that, then it's easier to center the next one, because you can go, oh, there we go. I know exactly how much space is in between each one. Whereas if I did this one first, and let's say that I put it here, and then it's like, uh-oh, that's going to be not in the right spot. So that is my tip for the day, is do the top and bottom first, and then put the middle one in. And that works for, no matter what order you're doing these. So, and I guess if you had it going the other direction, so hold on a second. So if you had it going sideways, then it would be put on this side and that side, and then put it in the middle. So now I can line this one up between the two of them and get it right where I want it. Okay. And if anything moved, which mine did, moved a little bit, I can just go straighten it out. And then once in a while, I'll use something like the platform from my Cuttlebug, or if you have a stamping block or something. A lot of times I'll just lay something on top. And so I'm going to do that with this one. I'm going to set it aside and put that on top, and we're going to move on to the next one. So I actually should have put, I almost made a mistake. Holy cow. I need to put this layer on first. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, guys, so that it doesn't take up a lot of time with me putting these background pieces on. And I'm going to be doing the same thing to both of the next cards. So I am going to go ahead and do that off camera. And then I will come back and then we will add the other pieces. But basically, I'm going to be doing the same thing to both cards. So actually, I'll go ahead and put this on right now since I'm talking to you. So this will cover up the entire front of the card. And I have to make sure I've got everything lined up right. And I'm going to do that to both, and then I'm going to be gluing this right over the top, leaving the gold border. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my gold foil layer on there and my embossed layer, and we're ready to put the other pieces on. And this is one of those that I embossed. I think it's so beautiful. But I want to point out that you don't have to do something like this. You can use a solid piece of cardstock. You can use a pattern piece. There isn't even an exact size, honestly. So I don't even remember what this one measured at. Not that upside down here. Let's go over here. About 1.5 inches. And you can position it anywhere on here. You can put it all the way over to one side. You can put it in the middle. So if you're doing your card opening this direction, you can have it in the middle. You can put that on as a square. You can put that on as a diamond shape. And, you know, it's the same thing. Like I was saying, if you want to put it off to one side, and then you can put the square on like that. So many possibilities. There are no rules. Now for this one, I'm really torn because I kind of like that look, but I also like it opening the other way with the diamond look in the middle. Really tough decision, but I think this is the way that I'm going to go. So I'm just going to glue this on, and if you're really smart, if you're doing it the way that I'm doing it right here, you might want to measure to make sure that you have this piece centered. I kind of made that mistake on a card and didn't have it exactly centered. I thought I did until I went to put the little diamond shape on. So let me see, this one's facing the right way. You know, with all these grid marks on here, you would think that, oh yeah, just look at the grid marks and figure it out. And maybe, but I'm just going to kind of take a guess, and I'm going to lay it down lightly. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and lay it across just to get an idea. And you know what? I think I've got it just where I want it. Boom, it's down. Okay, so I've got that piece on. Now, for this piece, you could use foam tape and pop it up, or you can glue it flat. I have done it both ways, and I think I want to glue it flat, which is kind of interesting because all of this is textured. We have this layer here and all of this embossing, and you know, does it lay flat? Well, it kind of does. And like I said, though, you could do, you know, foam tape and pop it up, because that is also a really nice look. All right, so now let me just get this centered, or close enough to centered. Really, the numbers on my side are like backwards or upside down. So it's not like I'm looking at it going, oh yeah, that's exactly right. But I think I've got it. Now, because of all of the embossing, so everything is raised, I am definitely going to set this aside, and let me grab my little thing here. I'm definitely going to set something on top of it. So let me do that, and I'll be right back for the next card. Okay, we are ready for card number 3. So I have watched Lynn, who is LV Handcrafted, and she actually glues these on ahead of time before she puts it on the front of her card. I'm going to be honest, I'm not that talented, okay? I'm really not. So what I did on my other cards is I went ahead and just glued these down in the corners, you know, measured them out, going, okay, that looks even there and there. And I'm just laying them out right now just to kind of tell you what I'm going to do. So I did that. And you have to make sure that everything is right, you know, equal all the way around, and then afterwards, then I glue that on top of it. That is just my way of doing it, but like I said, I'm going to have links to her video, and so you're going to be able to see the way she does it, because not everybody does the same thing, and you know, you can get different ideas because, you know, everybody's creations are different. For example, you know, me using the embossed, you know, background and using, you know, layers, and then Lynn will probably show you some without layers. So it's always good to see different people's version of cards because they're not all the same. So let me get that on there. And that looks about right to me. It doesn't have to, I'm going to say this, it doesn't have to be perfect. And this is coming from somebody who's a perfectionist and these things drive her crazy. But, you know, if you want perfect, go buy a Hallmark card. That's kind of my opinion, my thoughts. If you want perfect, go buy a Hallmark card, you know, where they're all identical, the same, everything is absolutely perfect. But if you want handmade love, then don't expect perfection, because it's not, you know, it's handmade, and that in itself makes it special. Okay, so I think I have those all lined up, all in the right spot. And before I go on to the next part, I'm going to be adding some scraps behind here. I cut them out so that they'll fit in the back. And the reason is because we've got 2 layers here, and then we're layering this on top. So by putting 2 scraps, you know, in the middle on the back, it'll just kind of even things out a little bit. And it's a great way to use your scraps. So I'm just going to put this kind of in the middle here. And then the other one. And as you can see, these cards are coming together so easy. I absolutely love this card sketch, this mini one-sheet wonder, because it is, you're using up everything on one sheet of 6x6 paper. And that's kind of why I'm showing you this one, because I only use the 6x6, where the other ones I did some mixing and matching. So here we go. Put some glue here in the middle. Put some up here in the corners where it's going to be attaching to the other thing, the other little squares. And I have glue stringing all over the place. And so I'm just going to kind of line these up like so. And again, I'm going to go set something on top of this. If you're wondering why, because maybe you've never seen me do that before, it is because I'm dealing with the embossed texture underneath. And so I'm using my Beacon 3-in-1 because it is a wet glue. It will sink down in there and help hold everything together. But I just want to make sure that there is enough pressure on there to really hold things together. Okay. Here are the 3 cards that I made using LV Handcrafted Mini One Sheet Wonder number 8. And all I used for the pattern paper was 1 piece of 6x6 pattern paper. Everything else I used is optional. And I wanted to point out that if you're using a non-directional pattern paper, that each of these cards can go both ways. So, you know, you're not limited to just having, you know, horizontal cards or, yeah, I can't even, vertical, thank you. I couldn't even think for a minute. If you wanted, they could all, hold on a second here, they can all be your normal A2 size, open on the side card, or if you wanted, they could also all be horizontal. So there you go. I haven't decorated these. I just wanted you to see the possibilities of, what you can do. Now, let's take a look at the other cards. Okay, let me bring these in. So I'm actually going to set these aside for a minute, and we're going to look at this card. And hold on, where did it go? I'm digging through all my cards here. Here we go. This one is a shaker. And I've got the little snowman image adhered to the outside of the shaker element and the let it snow. And if you are not familiar with shaker pockets, I'm going to put a link to my tutorial on how to do this right here on the screen, as well as on the end of the screen as the video is ending. But just wanted to show you that, you could add a shaker to the front if you want. Cute little image. And hold on one second here. Here's another one. And I should have made this one go in this direction, and I didn't think about that. That way I could have showed you both directions. But here it is with, I added a circle in the middle with the image. And I was going to show you, actually I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, I was going to show you how to work with the positional, not positional, oh my gosh, directional papers, and I will show you that here in a minute. But let me set those aside, and we're going to go to this style card. And so here is this one, and here it is with the square going on as a square, and this piece going off to the side. This is off to the side. So it just gives you some variety. And I really, really love this. So let me move that aside. And now we're down to this one. And these two, I made easel cards out of both of them. And again, if this is something you're not familiar with, I will put a link on the screen here to my tutorial on making easel cards, and I will also have a link on the end of the screen as this video is ending. But here we go. Super cute. I love these little snowman images. I don't know if I've been pointing them out to you, but they're just adorable. Here, let me pull this one over here. Are they just the cutest? I love them, and they don't even necessarily have to be Christmas. If somebody's having a winter birthday, for example, this one is delivering the mail. So, and that one is really cute too. I just think they're adorable. But anyways, I just wanted to show you that, let me move that one back over there, that they also make cute little easel cards. And here's another one going the other direction. It is, using the same sketch pieces, but this one is going horizontal instead of vertical. And I also made this one an easel card. So I love easel cards. They're just fun. So there you go. Now I'm going to talk to you about the directional papers. So let me grab, where did the other one go? I'm just going to grab them all here. Hold on a second. Okay, so here I am making a mess. Did all of this with two different papers. So as you can see on this one, the Christmas trees go up and down. But the way that it was originally cut, it was not going to go up and down. So, those are all going the right directions. The ones behind the image are. And I have all of them going the right direction because you can change it. Like I said, instead of making the card go this way, so now the Christmas trees are going the wrong way, you can make your card this direction. And that is kind of my deal with the positional, I keep saying positional, directional papers, is that just make your card for the one piece that's going the wrong direction, change the direction of your card, and that will fix the problem. So had I been using just, the Christmas trees, change things around. But if you are using directional paper, Sometimes it might be best if you have double-sided paper or if you're just using two different kinds. And that's what I did here. I actually love the look of using two different patterns of paper. It gives you more of a variety and you get 6 cards instead of 3. Or if you are using double-sided, you'll still get the 3, but you can switch things up. So there you go. I just wanted to share this with you because I absolutely fell in love with this card sketch and wanted to share it with you. And also I fell in love with these cute little Inlovearts snowmen that are stamp and die cutting sets, because I don't like to fussy cut, and if you like to fussy cut, you can still fussy cut them out without using the dies, right? But I like using the dies, and I just think these are super cute and great for any winter occasion. This could be a birthday, for somebody's birthday in the winter, you know, and he's delivering a package. So I just wanted to show you those. And a link to that set will be below in the description box. Oh, and I wanted to point out, I wanted to share this because I've been trying to kind of, you know, share everything I'm using. And so all of the little bits and pieces that you see in my shaker, those came in my goodies from the Crafty Friends. Oh, I forgot the name of the group, but I'll put it here on the screen. Crafty Friends with LV Handcrafted. And it's part of what I got from their Christmas thing that they gave me. And I love them. So I use those in my shaker. And I'm not sure what else I wanted to share with you because there's so much I want to share with you. But there you go. I will have pictures here as it's ending, and there will be links below in the description box as always. Thank you all so much for stopping by and letting me share this awesome card sketch with you. Don't forget, there are links below to LV Handcrafted where you can see her version of her card sketch as well as download the sketch for free. And also, if you love that absolutely adorable Inlovearts Skiing Snowman Die and Stamp Set, I'll have a link below to that along with the 25% off discount code and also a link to the Inlovearts Snowflakes embossing folder. And here on the screen as the video is ending are links to my shaker pocket tutorial and easel card tutorial and a demo and review of the Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus. Again, thank you all so much for stopping by, and happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.